to see if it's still good. Oh yeah, it's still good. It's still good. It's still good. Good morning, my name is Jericho from Palakape, and this is another episode of this mini-series where I teach or demonstrate how to make coffee using some of the manual brewing apparatus or equipment that I have. Now in this episode, I'm going to show you a simple manual brewing apparatus, and it is the Phin, which if you're traveling, you'll be familiar with. It came from Vietnam. Now the Phin is a very simple cup and metal filter assembly. So basically it has this cap, and there is this metal cup, and this is sort of like a press, or to even out the coffee bed, and this is and at the bottom is the filter. This is actually the very first manual brewer that I own. Well, not exactly this. There's another one, an older one, which doesn't look as good and as clean as this one. I rarely use the Phin anymore, but every time I use it, I remember my trip to Vietnam in 2016 when I got really hooked into coffee making because I love the culture of coffee in that country. Now, let's start. So I'm gonna make use of 10 grams of coffee. So I'll use this to get the initial cups, the initial beans. Okay, so a scoop is almost 10 grams. Okay, now that's 10 grams. A bit over 10 grams. And then I'm gonna set this manual grinder to medium. Oh, it's been medium already. It's been set to medium already yesterday. Here's the thing. When I'm reading literature, or resources from the internet about the use of this Phin, one source mentioned that they grind the coffee medium coarse, specifically for this type of manual brewer. But as I remember, it's kind of in the medium fine range. When I went to a Vietnamese coffee shop and I watched them do it, I saw that their coffee were ground to fine or medium fine. So I'm gonna stick with the medium setting of this grinder for now, and let's see what will happen. Now we will time the whole brewing process, so we'll get to have an idea whether we're doing it correctly or not. Basically, you expect it to finish between 4 to 6 minutes. Okay, now let's grind. Okay, oh, before I forget, let's boil the water. Now I'm gonna use a small glass so we can see the coffee drip to it. Most of the coffee in Vietnam are served in a clear cup or clear glass container, so people can appreciate, the coffee dripping down towards it. Now, I think some of you, if you're a traveler and you've been to Vietnam, or if you're Vietnamese watching, just in case, you know that most of the time, or a lot of times, they put condensed milk at the bottom. So you basically have a sweet drink, coffee with milk, but with a lot of sugar in it, because condensed milk is really sweet. So I'm not a fan of that. I most of the time drink my coffee just black, as is. So we're not gonna do that. So let's wait for the water to boil before we proceed. So it's turned out to be medium coarse, I think, because the grinding is not perfect there. So there are coarse ground there, and then some bit of fine grounds. Okay, so that's what we're gonna use for this. Okay, so the water has boiled. Well, it almost boiled, and checking the temperature, so this is about 94 degrees Celsius. Now we put the ground coffee on top. What we're gonna do now is to just check how much water would we add on top. I mean, on this Vietnamese, on this Phin. Basically, this is the standard coffee serving already for if you're using this manual brewer. Even out the coffee a little bit. Left. And then we put this. Twist a little bit to even out the coffee. Okay, we add a little bit of water, just wet the coffee grounds first. Okay, I'm gonna tear this again, and we start the brewing time. Just add some water there to wet the coffee grounds. Okay, and then we wait for about a minute to pre-infuse, basically. What we're going to do is to check how much water is usually added to your coffee grounds to make the coffee, because the standard Vietnam cup drink is to just fill this metal filter up to the tip, and that's all the water you need. Pre-infusion, as I remember it when someone told me when I was in Vietnam, is between 1 to 2 minutes. We would like to check how much water is used in a standard Vietnam cup. So we just fill this container with hot water up to the tip. As you can see, it's about 116 grams. Oops, we should cover this. Okay. So 116 grams. We just added the weight of the cap here on top. So there's a reason why the Vietnam coffee is served with a clear cup, so that people can appreciate the coffee dripping towards it, right? So there, as you can see, a standard coffee serving for using the Phin or the Vietnam cup filter, a metal filter assembly, is about 2/3 of a regular cup, because it reads here about 115.5 grams, so that's about, the same amount of water in ml, and that's about 2/3 of a cup. And it's kind of evident, like visually, you can see that this is really like smaller than a regular cup, right? A regular 6-ounce cup. Okay, I think we're done. Apparently, I ground the coffee a bit more coarse than it should be. I mean, maybe that's the reason. The expected brewing time for the Vietnam cup, for Vietnamese coffee, is about 4 to 6 minutes, and we brewed it less than 4 minutes, including pre-infusion already. So yeah, that's pretty fast. Another thing that you should remember is when you're finished brewing, take the cap off, and then you put this whole assembly on top of it. There, like so that you won't wet your table. Okay, so this is my morning coffee. Ooh. It brewed shorter than we expected, but I'm gonna taste it to see if it's still good. Oh yeah, it's still good. It's still good. It's still good. Well, I guess this coffee is good. That's why you expect it to be good in any manual brewing equipment. Yeah, so long as you follow the recommended temperature, 91 to 96 degrees Celsius or 92 to 96 degrees Celsius. What is it really in SEA? Or yeah, that, and to not overbrew it. You know, usually if you overbrew the coffee, it tastes bitter, and yeah. Good morning.